Hey, it's Jess, and welcome back to another speed build in the Haven's Hollow save file build series that I've been doing for a while now. This is the last build in Sable Square, which is kind of the historical area of Haven's Hollow, which in Brindleton Bay is the top neighborhood with, you can see it on screen right now. We're in the last build for this neighborhood of Brindleton Bay, or Haven's Hollow, because that's what I've called this world. And this save file is a mystery save file, and I've been working really hard on it, and we are technically halfway done with the neighborhoods, because we've done Whiskerman's Wharf and Sable Square, so we have Cavalier's Cove and Deadgrass Isle left. But there's not as many lots. There's 5 lots in Cavalier's Cove, just like Whiskerman's Wharf and Sable Square. But Deadgrass Isle only has 1 lot. So technically we only have 6 lots left. So we are more than halfway done with the lots. And we're halfway done with the neighborhoods. That being said, I'm sure the Deadgrass Isle lot is going to be a very big build. I'm planning to do kind of an abandoned boathouse. And I don't really have much experience doing abandoned builds. So we'll see how I fare when we get to that point. But for now, what I'm working on is a library and post office. I know in the little top corner, the name of the lot I have as library, restaurant, etc. I was going to put not a library, I do have a library here. I was going to put a restaurant up here. But there's already a restaurant in Whiskerman's Wharf, and I ended up making that lot actually a restaurant lot. So I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I really want to add a restaurant here. I definitely want the library to be the main lot in this build, because the library has a lot of gameplay aspects with the mystery. So I was like, okay, scrap the restaurant idea. We're going to do a library and we're going to do a post office. The library has a lot of gameplay stuff. The post office is kind of just there to look cute and fill up the lot. I wanted to put 2 different buildings on this lot just because it's a huge lot. And historical builds in New England, they can be large, but you don't really see them being huge. So I went for 2 buildings on 1 lot. They end up being very cozy, and my voice just broke. Sorry, I am suffering with a bit of allergies, which is weird for this time of year. But if my voice sounds weird or it breaks like that, like I'm a 12-year-old teenage boy, that would be why. And back to what I was saying. There's 2 lots, 2 buildings on this lot. One of them is the functional library. That is what this lot is in-game. If you visit it, it functions as a library. The post office is just kind of there to look cute. And I had so much fun doing the interior. I've gone to post offices a million times this year. I've been to the post office more in the past 6 months than I've ever been in my life. Post offices weren't a place that I visited regularly back in my college days. So through the whole visa getting process, I have been spending quite a lot of time at post offices. And I wish the post offices I spent time at looked as beautiful as this one, but they do not. They look very sad. But suffice to say, I had a lot of fun building the post office, decorating the inside of it. The outside's also really cool. I based both of these lots off of lots I found online. Actual real buildings I found online. So I just looked up New England post office, New England library, and was inspired by those pictures I saw. And they end up looking similar, but not exactly the same. So it's they look like they were made in the same time, maybe by the same people, but they're still different enough to be distinctive. I didn't want to just copy-paste 2 lots. And besides these 2 lots, there's also kind of a square area where you can paint or play chess or just sit and look at a fountain. So it ends up being, I think, a fun lot that you can visit, have fun with. This is completely functional if you just want to put it in your game. It will be on my gallery. It's already on there. My gallery ID is in the description, or just look up TiniestGuitar 58 on the gallery. I think there might be an underscore in there. I don't know. I don't know my own gallery name. because it's different than my like YouTube name, but someone already has TiniestGuitar as their gallery name, so I just have to suffer with adding a number on there. But yes, this is available on my gallery if you want a fun, like, historical New England inspired build to put in Brindleton Bay. Go ahead. I do use quite a lot of packs, but I don't have all of them, so it's not like pumped with a bunch of packs. Mainly if you have like expansion packs, that's what I mainly have. So there's that. The packs I use the most, I think, in this build are definitely Discover University, obviously Cats and Dogs because we're in Brindleton Bay, and then Vampires. Vampires, amazing building pack. That's one of the main reasons I got it. You know, I like playing as vampires. I played as vampires, done the whole vampire gameplay. I like the world, I guess, but the main reason I got it is because the build stuff is absolutely phenomenal. Yes, those two packs, three technically. I don't use Cats and Dogs build stuff too much, but we are in a lot in Brindleton Bay. Those are the main lots. The main packs on this lot. But yeah, this is completely inspired by New England. This whole world is. If you haven't seen my other videos, most of them are inspired by actual New England houses or kind of that colonial revival or just colonial build style that is typical of New England. I've never been to New England, so I can't say for sure whether this is completely accurate, which is why I use pictures. But that's the general aesthetic idea. This is supposed to be a small, cozy New England town where everyone knows everyone and things rarely go wrong. And then we have this big mystery to top it all off. Like, in this world where nothing goes wrong in this tiny little town, how can we have a missing person? So that is the aesthetic I've kind of based this whole entire thing off of. And I don't know, this is the last of the historical square that I've been working on for the past couple of weeks. This is the 5th build in it. I definitely think it's the most distinctive one. Most of the others are like white paneling and just like completely white with maybe black roofing and clock towers, which they all look very beautiful, but I like that I got to use a bit more color on the outside of this one. We have creams and brick, and it just ends up looking pretty cool. I still think it fits in with the rest of this neighborhood, but it's just a little bit different, which I like. And I end up doing some of this off camera just because as I was building, I got really overwhelmed before doing the landscaping. I don't know why. I was like really stressed out about doing the landscaping for this lot, even though it ended up being really easy. So I just stopped filming and did the landscaping and did like the interior, like build. What am I looking for? Like the room layout, I guess. I apparently shouldn't be filming this voiceover right now because I can't think. But I did that, and I think I did the wallpaper and flooring off camera too. So you pretty much just see the outside architecture and the inside interior design. Obviously, as we look at it and in like the pictures at the end of the speed build, you'll see how the outside ends up looking up. It's not like the best outside I've ever done, but you know, it's functional and it looks decent. The landscaping is very basic. I cannot bring myself to do very complicated landscaping. I don't know why, but when I was building this and the thought of doing landscaping, it was too much for me. But it ends up looking okay. Not my proudest moment, but it's also not the worst landscaping I've ever done. I've done terrible landscaping in the past, so at least it's better than that. And that's all I can really ask for at this point. We're getting towards the kind of end of the exterior, I think. I can't remember when I stopped filming, but I really struggled with choosing stairs for the outside here. None of them were the right color or the right style, and I was really committed to the floor tiles I used. It was a struggle. Building in the style is not something I generally do. This is very much out of my wheelhouse. I build like suburban homes. That's kind of what I've done throughout my time building on my own. mainly because they're easy. But I'm trying to get outside of my comfort zone with this. New England style builds are not something that I'm used to doing in The Sims, and they're not something I know well in my own life. So I'm definitely pushing myself with my building expertise, we might say. I end up kind of liking this lot, kind of not liking this lot. I don't know how to describe it. When I was doing the screenshots, I was like, okay, this lot looks really silly. But it functions how I want it to function, and I think the insides ends up looking okay. So it's like not a proud moment, but it's not a not proud moment, if that makes any sort of sense whatsoever. But yes, library, completely functional, very important for gameplay because a lot of the articles you read for the case file to learn more about Haven's Hallow and kind of Corine's disappearance are accessed through the library, and the librarian is someone who knew Corine quite well, so she's also someone who is important to the storyline. Speaking of which, librarian. I'm trying to think of the best way to add a librarian NPC into the game. Because, you can't pick and choose NPCs in The Sims. That's not how it works. So I'm thinking maybe I play this, have a librarian show up on the lot, and then make them over, maybe? Or I know there's mods that let you choose NPCs. But my one concern with that is that I don't know if those mods would transfer over to a save file that is CC free. Would you need that mod to keep those NPCs as the NPCs that you want, Maybe I'm just being confusing, but I'll figure it out at some point. I'll probably do all that testing later on my own time once I actually have people in this game. Here's the big jump with all the landscaping. Big difference, which I think does end up making it look nice. So there's that. Looking back, I like it, I guess. But yeah, where was I? NPCs. I'm trying to figure out how to add NPCs. It's confusing. I've tried cheats. I've looked up cheats to make bartenders before, but I've never been able to figure them out, so I don't know if it's just something that doesn't exist or if I'm just dumb, both of which are high possibilities, to be honest. So that will have to be tested later down the line. But speaking of NPCs, like the librarian, I've been adding, to the case file, to the story, some more NPCs. I had quite a few, unimportant minor characters to add to Haven's Hallow. But as I've kind of changed my plans, changed who is who and what is what, I have wanted to add more NPCs, specifically people who work at different places. Because I want this world to feel full, even though that's not really possible with the mechanics of The Sims. You can't, specify someone to be at the slot all the time, which I wish you could. But for the purposes of the case file, I want every lot to feel like it has purpose. So before, I planned to make a post office, but I never specified, okay, there's going to be this NPC who works at the post office. It was just, okay, there's a post office, and maybe there's a letter from Corine there that you can find during a clue, and it helps you solve the case. But it was never okay, there's an NPC here as well. So I've added a post office NPC, a town hall NPC, because even though the mayor works at the town hall, there's other offices there, and I was like, okay, I don't want the mayor to be the only person attached to the town hall. I already had people attached to the church, so that didn't matter much. But I'm going back through all the community lots in Whiskerman's Wharf and saying, okay, do I have enough NPCs here? Is one person per lot enough for the NPCs here? So I've added a few NPCs to the story. Again, they're very minor, so they don't add too much to the story, but they make it feel more full and more like a full world where everything has purpose, and there's people just going about their day working. And with those NPCs come more interviews I don't think I've added any investigations or anything with the other NPCs that I've added just because they're so minor. They don't really have any stock in Corine's missing person story. But, they're there. You can have interviews with them. They probably know Corine because, this is a small town. Everyone knows everyone. That's just how it is. So that has been what I've worked on for the case file. Not too much has happened with the case file. I've had a stressful but also exciting week. I finally got my visa back. So it is pretty much confirmed that I'm immigrating in like a month, which is terrifying but so fun. And the last thing to do is book my plane ticket, which I'm scared about how expensive it's going to be because, it's a month out and I'm going on a very long flight, which is probably going to be very expensive, but the place I'm working at will reimburse me for the ticket price, so I'm a little less worried about it, I'm going to allow myself to choose my seat and have a bit of interest there. But back to the build, you'll see me work with the windows over here, the curtains, the plants. I end up deleting this and adding a fireplace because I thought that was really cozy, and this build kind of demanded a fireplace, let's be honest. And I add chimneys on the outside to show that, oh yes, there is a fireplace here. It doesn't just go up into the nether sphere and burns down the place because there's no chimney. So I end up doing that, and you'll see that I love a good fireplace, especially in a cozy library like this. I wish my local library had a cozy fireplace. I live in not a rural place, but it's like a small library. Very sad. I go in and I'm the only person there. And it's small. The book selection is interesting. I currently have a book checked out from the library that is 700 pages, and I've had to extend my book borrowing for this library book 3 times. I cannot get through it. It's a really, really good book. Don't get me wrong. I just don't have the attention span anymore to sit down and read for hours and hours. Even if it's something I really enjoy, which is sad. I'm hoping to get that back at some point. I've already cut out scrolling through videos kind of in Instagram Reels or TikTok. I've never had TikTok, but Instagram Reels I have cut out almost completely. I only watch stuff that people send me because it's such a waste of time, and I just end up disliking myself by the end of it. So that is one thing I've cut out, and it's been fine. I haven't really noticed any difference. I don't really want to watch it anymore, which I think is pretty good. So if you scroll a lot, maybe start cutting it out. I act like I don't do a bunch of other things that also waste my time, but at least I don't scroll through Reels anymore, so I have that going for me. Anyway, yeah, those are my life updates. I've got my visa. I'm moving in a month, which means at least for 1 week of February, I won't be doing any videos because I'll be traveling, and then I'll be doing orientation, and it will actually probably be 2 weeks because then I'll move in and I'll start working. So yeah, I'll probably be gone 2 weeks in February, if not more, while I get accumulated to my new job, which is scary but exciting and fun. And it will be a little sad to take a break, but it'll be good. I'm trying to think. If it's 4 weeks out, then I might finish Cavalier's Cove, and then when I come back, it will be Deadgrass Isle, which I think is going to take me longer than a week to build. So it might indeed be a long time before I get build out in February. I'll probably do the first 2 weeks of February, and probably won't get that Deadgrass Isle build out until March, which is a little sad, but that at least gives me time to really work on it whenever I have free time, so that's good. because I don't want to rush that build. That's like probably the build I'm most excited about, honestly, is that abandoned boathouse. And I have no idea how to approach it. Like, not only do I not know how to build a boathouse, I don't know how to build an abandoned boathouse. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited to start working. It is going to put a damper on the YouTube uploads, but hopefully not too much. Hopefully I'll be able to keep up. The building is what I like, is probably the most popular on my channel, but it's also the thing that takes up a lot of time. It doesn't take up much editing time, but the build time, I'm not a fast builder, not even in any sense of the word fast. So putting out a build a week has been very time consuming for me, to say the least. But I've been having fun. I haven't built this consistently, I think, ever in The Sims. I honestly, probably before I started this channel, built like maybe once a month. And then like maybe more than that if I was really feeling it. Sometimes I'd go months without building at all. So this has definitely pushed me to build more and build faster. So benefits of having a YouTube channel and doing consistent build uploads. But that being said, because I've been building so much, I haven't had time to work on the case file. So hopefully during my time off in February, I'll be able to sit down and be like, okay, case file time, maybe on the plane. That can be a good plane activity. I'm going to be on that plane for like, 14 hours or something. So yeah, stressful. I hate long plane rides. I love short plane rides. I used to do a 2-hour one like 3 times a year. That one I liked. Even 4 hours is pretty okay, but anything more than that is when it starts getting stressful. Now we're moving on to the post office. This is completely for looks, but by the end of it, I think it does look like a post office. It functions as it should, which is fantastic. I have a few, like, I guess, quote-unquote offices here. There's just, like, desks, and then a bunch of boxes that I think you have, like, letters in, and I put up a bunch of mailboxes on a wall to be like, okay, maybe this is, like, a P.O. box or something. You can, like, come into the post office and take your stuff out of your mailbox. That's the idea. As I said, I only really go to the post office to send off stuff for visas, which I now have. The last thing I have to do is like send a few things over to my employer and I'm good. And maybe I'll never have to go to post office again, which is doubtful because I'm probably gonna immigrate to a different country somewhere later in life. So my hopes and dreams have been dashed. But if it was this post office, I might come more regularly because it's pretty. And I like pretty things. I'm very, not materialistic. That's not the word I'm looking for. I don't know what the word I am looking for is. You know what, just ignore me, honestly, at this point. I'm kind of like going down into a spiral of, I don't know what to say, so I'm just saying random stuff. Which is how most of my speed builds end up. I just get into all the stuff I've written down to be like, okay, talk about this and this and this and this and your speed build. And then I get to the end of that list and there's still like 10 minutes left. So I just have to yap about nothing for like 10 minutes, which allows me to vent about life, maybe a little too much. Honestly, I vent about life a little too much in these speed builds. But who else am I going to update about my life, honestly? I have like 3 friends. So you guys are the ones who sadly have to hear me spout nonsense all the time. So thank you for being around to have me spout nonsense too. And for listening, I suppose. Unless you mute these, honestly, go off. Sometimes I mute speed builds, but that's usually if they have really annoying music over them. So that's a little different. But if you mute me, go ahead. Like, honestly, I get it. My voice is kind of annoying. Like, I hate listening to myself when I do voice recordings and listening it back to edit. And those are mostly for, let's play videos. But yeah, not fun to listen to your own voice. And I'm well aware that my voice is not The best on earth. Hopefully it's not the worst either. But yeah, I just yap about stuff now. And now I've lost stuff to yap about, so I guess I'll talk more about the build, what you came here to see. I put those get to work fences to kind of be podiums, banisters. What are those called? With this fabric, and then I don't know. You can see it on screen. The fences there. I put that down to kind of be like where you'd start the line, and I don't know if I put them down yet, but I put down rugs to like specify one station, second station. And I spend absolutely forever right now trying to find that get to work like library cart thing. And I couldn't remember what pack it was in. So I just struggled until I was like, okay, I'm just going to look up cart and hope it is there. And it was. This is one of my favorite items, and I use it all the time. But I always forget, like, where it's from. I always think, okay, library cart, it's from Discover University, right? No, it's from Get to Work. Honestly, goated item. Goated item right there. Maybe you just saw me put a map of Brindleton Bay up. I imagine this town is very prideful in being from this town. Haven's Hollow. Everyone is very prideful of their town and their town accomplishments. Very small town vibes. I don't know if there's a sports team in this town. I haven't really thought about it. If there was, I don't even know what sports team. Maybe baseball. Maybe this is a baseball town. You know what? Let's stick with that. Baseball town. Which means I might make Corine's best friend a baseball player. Interesting. Is baseball like big in New England? I don't know. I'm not a sports girl. I don't know about sports. So forgive me if I'm being ignorant, but it doesn't feel like football would be big in New England. But maybe I'm completely wrong. As I said, I genuinely just don't care that much about sports. So this is what I'm working off of. So maybe baseball. That's what we're going with. Baseball boys. And that's what this town is really into. They're really into baseball. Okay, we'll go with that. I don't know what else to say. So let's just talk more about the build, I guess. Again, as you can see, I put down a lot of fun stuff. You can see me putting down mailboxes now. I end up putting them on a different wall. I really wish you could lower items lower than their default height, which I know like doesn't work gameplay wise, but I just wanted to put a whole entire wall of mailboxes. But I couldn't because I couldn't put them below their like default height. I could only put them above. Then again, it's fine. It's just slightly annoying. I wish you could do that. I'm not sure why you can't, especially with mirrors. Like, why can't I make a mirror go down? Like, seriously, that's one of the things that bugs me so much. I know I could bring out the tool mod and do it like that, but I've been building without any mods in simply because, one, my game runs better. Two, it's just less work. I can just, like, instead of taking all my mods out in my folder and putting them somewhere else, I can just turn off mods in the game and be ready to build. So, yeah, I guess this is kind of the end of the build, and I've yapped for a long time. I can't even remember what I talked about. I don't remember if I talked about everything that I needed to, but we're here. So thank you for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Peace and love. Bye.